Well, it looks like President Trump's ongoing battle with the media is getting even more intense, if you can imagine that. He's challenging the Wall Street Journal now on how he was quoted in a recent article. We want to note, of course, that the parent company of the Fox News channel also owns the Wall Street Journal. Listen here to the recording of his interview.
I have a great relationship with him. As you know, I have a great relationship with Prime Minister Abe, Japan. And I probably have a very good relationship with Kim Jong Un of North Korea. I have relationships with people. I think you people are surprised.
All right, you heard it yourself. The White House says Trump said, "I'd probably." But the paper quoted him saying, "I probably." Well, again, you heard it. What do you think? He's standing by what he's saying, and the paper's standing by its reporting. Meanwhile, Arizona Republican Senator Jeff Flake, a big Trump critic, is planning to give a speech on the Senate floor Wednesday, calling out the president for his battle with the media. It coincides with the president's plan to announce his fake news awards. Here's a preview of what Senator Flake plans to say.
I would talk about in the speech the importance of calling real things real and fake things fake. And how damaging it is to have this term fake news around the world, that authoritarians everywhere have adopted it and will dismiss their opposition. Well, that's fake news. I don't think it's helpful to our discourse. He borrowed that phrase. It was popularized by Joseph Stalin, used by Mao as well. Enemy of the people.
Oh. Wow. All right. So that's some pretty strong language. Will this make him flavor of the month with the mainstream media, Charlie?
Probably, because anytime a Republican beats up Republicans, the media loves it. I mean, talk about fake news. Comparing Trump to Stalin, you know, we went through this with the campaign, comparing him to Hitler, and it's just, it's just such a,
insulting to history.
Yeah, exactly. And it is actually fake news. But the thing, I love the Wall Street Journal, one of the finest papers in the country, terrific. Why are they having an argument with the president?
Why not just say, okay, this is what he said or meant to say?
The same thing. And the word probably in there suggests that it might have been a condition like I'd as opposed to I. And going back, it's like an argument between two 6-year-olds, and I don't really know why they are insisting on keeping it up.
Well,
we had this reporter on Overtime last week, and I specifically asked because they told us what was in this interview. And but when you listen to it on your own, which we didn't have the benefit of doing on Friday, you can make your own decision about it. So again, if the president says on the record, I want to correct something. Why wouldn't you?
Why isn't that just the last word?
But the interesting thing, though, was that this didn't get blown up by the media at all. I mean, the president picked this argument with the Wall Street Journal, right?
And for a reason.
Yeah. I mean,
what reason? What reason?
Well, because first of all, he did get some guff about, he said he has a relationship with Kim Jong Un.
Well, that's what they were telling us. And came out of the meeting, came out of the interview. Yeah, that's what we were being told.
And at the end of the day, no, actually, that's not what he said. And in any event, that's not what he meant to say. He clearly said, I'd probably have.
You bring up a good point, though. I mean, it's okay for someone who's been interviewed, right, to go back. I mean, we do this for a living, and to say, look, I might, if you can, I realize the statement's already out there the way it is. I'd like to address that with a clarification. We have people who get on the record
and that
with us
happens
like
all
that,
the time.
Right? Yes. So why the battle? Because why?
Because it's Donald Trump. And these people have just lost their minds. And they want to come up with all this ridiculous stuff to basically portray him as being either racist or completely out of touch and stupid and all this other stuff.
I mean, that said, I mean, it is a wonderful paper, and full disclosure, it's also part of us. Yeah. But it is a great paper, and I don't know, is it's entirely sort of just people wanting to get that angry with him, or maybe it's perhaps precedent. In other words, if you let him do this, then do you run the risk that there's a bigger issue down the road? I don't know.
I don't think it changes the meaning of the sentence that much, and it's also seeking that kind of a clarification. It's so minor that I don't know why.
But I want to challenge you on that.
These things are such a massive distraction.
Because he was asked, has he spoken to Kim Jong Un? And that was a really, I was speaking with James Freeman from the editorial page of the Wall Street Journal this morning. He said that's probably the biggest thing that came out of this conversation was that he wouldn't say whether or not he spoke to the North Korean
Then we should be
dictator.
talking about that. I mean, I think that's
and I did with the reporter who did the interview on Friday.
Speculate upon whether or not our president has any sort of a relationship with the leader of North Korea, because there are a lot of people that would still very much love to see a diplomatic
solution. I said that would be news
solution.
if it were true.
All right,
That's what I said on the air.
You're right. You're right.